Every creative field has at least one universal enemy. Writers fear the blank page. Filmmakers fear the empty frame. Painters can fear the untouched canvas. And chefs? Well, you lot tend to fear this, the blank plate. Not just because it's difficult, but because there are no instructions. Most of the time there are no plating steps to follow. There may be a photo, but nothing that actually guides you. Cookbooks don't show it. No recipe instructions to fall back on. And for some reason, chefs rarely talk about plating online. So all you're left with is this empty space and the dreaded expectation. And that's exactly why blank plate syndrome makes so many of us freeze. A culinary student emailed me last week and said, "Tom, every time I plate, my mind goes blank. I end up with something simple, basic and safe, and I just hate it." And this seems so common, not just at home or in culinary school, but in professional kitchens, private dining, and even amongst some of the most experienced chefs. But the timing of this message was actually perfect, because I'm in the middle of creating something incredibly exciting for 2026. A project designed specifically to help home cooks and chefs overcome this exact issue. It's going to be a complement to my book, The Plating Gym, but in a far more practical, hands-on way, something you can actually use to help you plate. So make sure you stay to the end of this video to hear more about it. Perhaps sign up for the waitlist below and maybe even get involved in its creation or some early feedback. In this video, I want to explain why your mind goes blank in the first place and how to get past that paralysis so you can plate with clarity, confidence, and creative direction. It's important to know that your mind is not failing you, it's protecting you. When you see that blank plate, your brain is suddenly asked to think about layout, decide on spacing, choose a focal point, manage colour harmony, create contrast, build height, avoid overcrowding, and tell a story, often within the first 15 seconds, right before serving. No wonder you shut down. Now, writers don't craft a novel in the last 10 minutes of their deadline. Filmmakers don't improvise the entire shot list on set. And the interior designer doesn't choose the fabric colour palette after the sofa has already arrived in the living room. But as a home cook myself, and from what I've seen from over a decade shooting in professional kitchens, many chefs cook first and then only start designing when the plate appears. For highly experienced chefs, this can work. But for most people, it creates anxiety, pressure, and the plates look underwhelming compared to the flavours you've created. You're trying to solve design problems at the maximum point of pressure, so it's not a creativity issue at all, it's a process issue, and here's how to fix it. Every design begins long before the plating. If you want ideas, you can't wait for inspiration to show itself. You have to go looking for it, and your ingredients are a really good place to start. So ask yourself, what colours am I working with? What shapes will these ingredients become? What textures do I have? Smooth, crispy, airy? Are there components similar in size or dramatically different? Is the dish naturally symmetrical, or does it have some organic, chaotic energy? Now, if you've followed my channel for a while, you know I've banged on about this for ages. You should be thinking about sketching, drawing layouts in advance. Even rough scribbles will help. Even circles and arrows will help. Anything that forces you to think visually before the pressure hits. In my own world, when I work with photography clients, I spend almost as much time pre-planning as I do the actual shoot. Mood boards, colour palettes, test compositions, swipe files, reference angles, lighting ideas. We think visually long before the camera actually comes out and the shutter is clicked. If home cooks and newer chefs adopt even a small fraction of that mindset, plating would promise you would feel dramatically easier. Not because you're suddenly more artistic, but because you've already thought through some of the visual decisions. Suddenly that blank plate isn't a crisis moment. It's the final step in a process you've already started. Instead of staring at an empty surface and hoping inspiration just arrives, you're following a loose direction, reacting to ideas you've already shaped. So you won't be creating from zero, you're refining something that already exists. That one shift will remove 90% of the stress. Here's the real turning point. Your plating doesn't necessarily improve by just plating more. It improves by seeing more, and by choosing the kind of visuals you want to create. Swipe files, saved images, screenshots, sketchbooks, notes, analysis. These are the tools that will shape your visual instinct. And if you want to go deeper into this, I have a full video called Train Your Eye to Elevate Your Plating Techniques. I'll link to it here or in the description below. But here's the short version. Every great visual chef or platist has trained their eye to recognize why beautiful plates work. They study symmetry, color harmony, isolated layouts, condensed arrangements, texture contrast, negative space, and repetition. Not just spotting the techniques, but understanding why they were used. So when you see a plate you admire, ask, where does my eye land first? What's guiding my attention? Why did they choose this layout? How is negative space framing the dish? What textures create energy and contrast? Which color relationships are at play? What story is the chef trying to tell? This is exactly how designers analyse typography and composition. It's how I study light, shape and balance. It's how musicians understand arrangements and rhythm. Once you start collecting examples, for example start a proper swipe file, patterns will emerge. You'll start to notice what you're naturally drawn to. You start to understand the why behind the visuals, and eventually you'll start making those design decisions intentionally in your own work. Train your eye and your instincts will follow. This is where structure can really help. You don't need a master plan, you just need a starting direction. That's where the slick layout can help. Stacked, linear, isolated and condensed. Tall elements want height, so use stacked. Flowing elements like movement, use linear. Bold, colourful ingredients need space, isolated. Comforting, hearty components belong together, use condensed. These layouts aren't rules, they're just scaffolding. Just like a writer choosing between a first-person novel and third-person. Just like a filmmaker chooses his lens. That structure doesn't limit you, it frees you. When the best writers get stuck, they don't wait for a masterpiece to just appear. They give themselves something, anything, to move them forwards. A small prompt, like maybe write 1 page a day, or a limitation, describe a scene using only dialogue. Or perhaps a constraint, write a paragraph with only 5 adjectives. These tricks can really help to overcome that creative block. And you can use the same exact approach with plating. So you could try using some of the constraints I've listed in this training kit. Try. Plate with only 2 colours. Plate with everything off centre. Build height in one location. Repeat a single shape. Isolate the here ingredients and condense the rest. Constraints don't limit your creativity, they activate it. They give your brain the first stepping stone, and once you take it, momentum follows. But here's something worth adding, something all top performers understand. Creativity doesn't grow from freedom alone. It grows from focus, effort and execution. Steph Curry, the basketballer, didn't become Steph Curry by practicing everything at once. He focused on his shot. The Beatles didn't become the Beatles by waiting for inspiration. They played 8 hours a night in Hamburg until their skill was undeniable. So for us, focus means choosing one element of plating to improve. Effort means giving yourself repetitions, failures, awkward attempts. And execution means bringing it together when it matters, even if it's imperfect. The feed process is how elite performers turn potential into progress. And it works beautifully with constraints. So pick one skill. Give yourself multiple plates, multiple sketches, multiple variations. Then execute under time pressure, just like you'll eventually do in real plating conditions, either on the pass or for that dinner party at home. Blank plate paralysis disappears when you combine a constraint to get started with a process to keep improving. Creativity thrives on structure. Your plating will do too. All of this, ingredient analysis, sketching, layout decisions, eye training exercises, creative prompts, critique tools. This is all part of my new Plating Gym training kit that I've been building. Inside this kit, you'll find worksheets for planning your plates, exercises to train your visual instincts, guided prompts to help you explore new layouts, and a modernised Plate Like a Pro checklist that literally thousands of you have downloaded up to this point, which breaks down common design mistakes and how to fix them, and even creative challenges designed to strengthen your plating muscles over time. It's basically the practical extension of the Plating Gym, a hands-on, interactive version you can actually use while designing your dishes. It's not quite ready yet, but it is coming in 2026. And if this way of thinking resonates with you, you'll absolutely want to be part of it. So sign up to the waitlist in the description below. So if plating tends to send you into panic mode, trust me, you're definitely not alone. And you're certainly not uncreative. You just need a better system. Start with the ingredients, sketch ideas, train your eye, choose layout that fits, give yourself constraints. Use the fee model to improve one step at a time. Do that and you'll be amazed how quickly the blank plate becomes possibility instead of fear. If this video has helped you in any way, please hit the like button and subscribe. It genuinely supports the channel and helps more platers discover the visual side of food. But the best way you can actually support the work is to simply watch more of these videos. It tells YouTube, we want to see more of this, so why not explore the channel page and maybe pick a plating video that catches your eye. Or just click on the one here and keep learning. And I'll see you in the next one.